Okay, this is a slightly different video compared to normal, but basically this video is different. It is very different compared to some of the other videos I make, but kind of reminiscent of some of the videos I made in the past, which is what I'm going to be touching upon. So first things first is this is actually a response to a response from League. So first off, there's Skooch, a YouTuber that I watch. I actually greatly enjoy a lot of his videos. I think all of them are very good. For like 99% of his videos are very good, and like some of them just like eh. But that's just my personal opinion. But he made a video basically criticizing League for I think he called it as power creep, but he corrected himself later on that the proper terminology is feature creep, where basically in games like League of Legends, they constantly want to add more and more features in order to spice up the gameplay to keep players interested, which is completely normal. It happens in any game. And how it's not necessarily ruining the game, but it is causing mixed reviews of an effect. Because there's characters. His specific example was bringing up characters such as Akshan, and how his W is like this. It isn't that big, but if you actually check the legit wiki, it is gigantic. It's paragraphs. It's a whole fucking essay. And you have things like this, where like even his passive, it's basically an essay. But then now he went to old Scion before he was reworked, because old Scion, like original, like one of his abilities just stunned. It just stunned you. Okay, that's all it was. But I was gonna go to someone who is currently in the game, or not currently, and currently has been messed with. Just Gnosis, just his regular passive is like, I have lifesteal. That is all. All of his abilities are just one, maybe two sentences. But just his regular passive, I have lifesteal. And then you go to Akshan's regular passive, and it's every auto attack I attack twice. Every 3 times the damage you with an ability, it procs magic damage. But if it's champion, I also gain a shield. And if I stop my second fast auto attack, then I gain bonus movement speed. That's like all of the shit is. Like, yeah, if he cancels the additional attack, he gains movement speed. So it's quite excessive. Same with another one that is fucking insane is Samira's passive, where it's just like, okay, yeah. Where every time she autos you, her grade goes up, her ability goes up from abilities too. And this increases her attack speed and her move speed, and when she's melee range, she'll auto attack you. And yeah, it's excessive. It's excessive, is what it is. And like honestly, I said, like I find it perfectly fine as a person that likes to make characters myself. Creating these crazy complex characters is honestly a lot of fun. In some cases, it can be very annoying when you get stumped. Like, you have 2 really crazy good abilities, and then you're like, but what's the other ability, or what's the ultimate? That definitely makes it a little less enjoyable, but overall, it's still a fun time. But then Vars also commented on this, bringing up Skooch's video, talking about the same thing, how these new champions, like the video was about new champions in general, how these new champions have these shit ton of effects and get free stats when half of them get taken out anyway. Like when Akali was first reworked, I don't know how many of you know this, her W, this shroud, would prevent her from being seen by towers. A tower could not see her. Her Q would heal whenever you used it at max energy. Like, it is something. She just had a lot more in her kit than she does now. And because a lot of these features that, you know, when they first gave her, it was awesome, it was great. But then they kept having to change her because she was just too broken. And like now, she's kind of in the middle ground between a really good character if you know how to play her. Like if you are a Kali one trick, you can decimate enemy teams. But if you're not, and you're still trying to learn her or something like that, please don't play her in my ranked game. Because honestly, most of her stats, if you actually look at them, aren't that good anymore. Like a lot of her stats, how she uses abilities, things like that, really aren't that insane compared to other champions. But the way you use them and the way you can use them really has an insane effect, to where she's still a really good champion, but because she lost so many of her previous capabilities, it kind of did bring her down to where she's not overpowered, but she's not underpowered either, but she is only regular powered if you're a good player playing her, and if you're a bad player, then she's underpowered. You could probably say that with a lot of different champions. Oh, well, just like a high skill cap champion, which is kind of true. But at the same time, even like it's not just being a high skill cap. I don't know why I'm saying cap. It is a bit more than just that. But basically, they were bringing up different. The main reason I wanted to make this though is because Vars said at one point that this is kind of bringing in the effect that if everyone is special, then no one is special. Because, you know, if everyone has some sort of special aspect, or my favorite interpretation of the saying is that if everything is overpowered, then nothing is overpowered. Because that just raises the cap. But everything is not overpowered. Like, you got these champions, these newer champions that have 57 passives and 5 and 10 different abilities. Each thing can be multiplied and changed in some way. And then you have Annie. You have Annie, who just does things. You have Amumu. You have who's another one that's just so Cho'Gath. You have some champions that are so mind-numbingly boring and lack of complexity and lack of special effects, that it makes it so that yes, there are a decent amount of overpowered, but it's not everything is overpowered. And because of that, Vars openly said that he thinks they should focus on reworking and changing these old champions before coming out with more new ones. That way everyone can be at that plain middle overpowered ground, instead of these new champions just being so crazy capabilities, while these old champions are just like, yes, I exist, I can do these abilities. Now, so honestly, I brought this up way back in that old rant. There's 2 different things I brought up. One is the addition of counterplay with summoner spells. I brought it up as saying that, like, there are certain times when you're going to take a summoner spell and you wish you took another one, or you're going to take a summoner spell that's good for the early game and then you never use again after, like, 20 minutes. And some shit like that. Where, yeah, you'll still use it, but it won't even come close to the same effect. And, like, when you're against different enemy champions, like, if they lane swap or something else happens, that, like, its effect basically completely loses touch. And I was bringing up that basically everyone in the game should have Unsealed Spellbook. The spellbook, the mastery, the rune, okay, runes are right here. It's the rune that allows you... Okay, of course I can't do it and see it in one of the locked ones. It's the rune that I have to have one that starts as blue. Thank you. Finally. It's this one right here. Never mind, I have to have one that starts with inspiration, which I don't have a single thing that starts with inspiration. Where's my change? Where's my change? There's change. Okay. Inspiration right here. Unsealed Spellbook. Jesus Christ. It allows you to change your summoner spell. That's all what this says, is that, you know, you use your summoner spell, you gain points. Once you gain enough points, you can swap a summoner spell for something else. Okay, cool, excellent, great. I was saying that everyone should have that because there's going to be times where you're going to want to change your summoner spells. And there's, like, times as Vigor. And I thought it would add another layer of counterplay. Now, the reason counterplay is important is because these newer champions... And this is something that Vars brought up again. These newer champions are capable of... They have counterplay to their counterplay. So basically what that means is the Riot dev team decided to add some sort of counterplay to an ability. They're like, okay, if they can dash this way and knock you up, then you can dash that way and dodge it. Or you can there's some sort of effect around them so I can see when that ability is active or something like that. But then they added counterplay to the counterplay in another ability. So basically, even though they have counterplay about them, but because their other abilities have counterplay to the counterplay, it basically means that they don't have counterplay and that they're just overpowered. And the point in case that he was using was Yone. Like, Yone has so many different fucking things. Like, Yone's passive is I double my crit chance like Yasuo. Every other auto attack does ability damage, and basically all of my abilities have split damage. His Q, and then after you use it twice, he can knock you up. This gives him a shield and slices, doing split damage. This gives him a small dash. A lot of different shit. I don't need to go over everything that's in Yone's kit. But basically, he was just saying exactly that. Like, Yone has so many different capabilities that he has counterplay to his counterplay. And because he has counterplay to his counterplay, it makes him uncounterable. Yes, I know, a little confusing. And it just makes him overpowered. And so that's why I was bringing up, like, everyone having Summoner Spellbook. So everyone can change that. I mean, like, oh, okay, well, if he has that, then I'll have this, or things like that. Or, oh, well, no, like, maybe so that way you don't have to take Flash every game. You could start off the game knowing, okay, he's going to engage on me super hard, so I'm going to take Barrier Exhaust. And I'm going to barrier myself and exhaust whenever he dives me. That way I win the exchange. Now, I kind of understand that means that he also can change his summoner spells, but it would be a bit more difficult for him to do something like that. So that's just like, he'd want, okay, he takes Ignite Flash. So yeah, he ignites you, but yet again, you have Barrier Exhaust. Okay, you survive. You swap it out for Barrier Flash. Okay, he wants to get back to lane faster. Like, it'll help defensively more than it'll help offensively. Because, honestly, there are more defensive summoner spells than there really is offensive. Now, they're all combat, mostly, except for, like, Teleport. But it would help offensively or defensively more, because the only one that's pure offensive that helps you kill the enemy 110% is Ignite. That's the only thing that will help you kill the enemy 110%. Exhaust will sort of help because it will slow them, but overall, like, most of these characters have 1,000 dashes anyway, to where they don't give a fuck. To where if you exhaust and barrier them, or cleanse their CC and then barrier, or cleanse their CC and exhaust them, it's going to inhibit them a lot more than anything else, when the only thing they can do is ignite you. So they can put a burn on you, and I'm not going to downplay it. It is kind of decently strong, but at the same time, it's not as strong as, oh, I just heal and exhaust you and I'm running the fuck away. Something like that. But where I honestly, I just wanted to bring up that in the other video, though, my video from a long time ago with the rant about League of Legends, that I brought up the same thing that Vars did too, that they should go through these old champions, that they should just take like 6 months. Just take 6 months out of the year. I understand it's a decently long time, and don't release any new champions. Don't focus on making new champions, or like maybe have a quarter or a tenth of your dev team focusing on new champions, while the rest of them are focusing on these old champions and how to change them. Because I cannot tell you the last time I saw an Amumu. I can tell you the last time I saw an Annie. But yet again, long time ago. Alistair was forever ago. Ari, forever ago. Ashe is honestly still kind of decently. Brand is still pretty commonly picked, but I do think he needs some changes. Honestly, nerfs more than anything else, to be completely honest. I already brought up changes that I thought Azir should have based off of Legends of Runeterra. I can't tell you the last time I saw Bard, but Bard is honestly one of the best performing supports, but like, I think Bard is perfectly fine. Even tweaking like Aurelion Sol. I can't tell you the last time I saw a Blitzcrank. I can't tell you the last time I saw a Cho'Gath that didn't just fucking die or murder me instantly. Like, you only fight against two types of Cho'Gaths. The Cho'Gath that feeds hard, or the Cho'Gath that runs into the ADC and clicks R and they die. A lot of these champions fine. A lot of these champions fine. These ones fine. Recently have had like a rework. Garen definitely needs a fucking change, but honestly more nerfs than anything else. I fucking hate Garen. Honestly, I can't tell you the last time I saw Fizz, even though I still find Fizz pretty fucking stupid. Can't tell you the last time I saw Gragas, Heimerdinger, even Ivern, like some of these older champions. Now, I do want them to get like mini reworks to full-on reworks, but I don't want them to turn out like Mordekaiser. So some of you are probably thinking, what the fuck, that know the channel and know that I love Mordekaiser. I hated the old Mordekaiser, and I love the new Mordekaiser. And you're probably thinking, what the fuck? I think in a rework standpoint, he is atrocious. He is absolutely terrible. The only reason I love the new Mordekaiser is because he looks so fucking amazing. I love him. I love this fucking champion's design so much. His skin's badass. But his kit, I really don't like. I love the impact from his Q, and that is it. I think his passive is stupid as shit. I think his W is stupid as shit. And when I say that, I mean a mixture of both overpowered and underwhelming at the same time, because you're mostly overpowered. But his kit is just so extraordinarily simple, because he has one combo. I can E you and then hit you with my Q. I'm going to then auto attack you to proc my passive, and then I'm going to just follow you, spamming my abilities whenever they come up to make sure my passive stays active. And I have this ultimate that I don't think should exist, to be completely honest. I don't think by any chance they're going to remove this ability, but I do not think that his ultimate should exist. It is the most broken but weak ability I think I've seen in the entire game, because it's one of those abilities that I think is very strong for the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game, because you're just going to keep ulting their ADC, or you're going to keep ulting their jungle, or you're just going to ult someone always, and they're going to either die or lose most of their health. Unless, you ult someone that's super overpowered or super fed, and then you die. But, for the first half of the game, the jungler is going to come to gank. It's now 1v1, and you're going to win it, unless they hard counter you. And yet again, like, he just has such a extraordinarily simple kit that I think it's just really stupid. And I love the impact of his Q, and I think out of all abilities, they should keep his Q. Like, I did actually go over Mordekaiser, and I think one of my A to Z mini reworks, my thoughts, ideas, blah, 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 where I was saying that they should make his Q better by making it, like, if it damages an enemy champion the next time he uses it, basically fuse it with his old Q, so that instead of being the next 3 auto attacks do bonus damage, like, increasing each auto attack, basically have be, like, every Q does increased damage, or have it be something like Aatrox's Q, where like the first Q is this big, does this much damage, the second Q is this, does this much damage, and the third Q is this and does this much damage, type of thing. And I really don't think his E, I don't think he should have anything like a dash, but I feel like he should have a movement speed increase. Instead of you pulling him to you, he should go to you. Like, instead of him being able to pull you guys to him, he should, like, have a skill shot or something like that. Or maybe, like, a mini of a version of his old ult, where, like, he puts a burn on top of you and then he gains bonus movement speed to you. And, honestly, I would, again, like, change his W and his passive. Like, I think that they should have kept more of the original kit than they did, and that they really should have just made it more of a visual update, because he visually looks amazing. His abilities look amazing. His Q, I feel the fucking impact of that ability every goddamn time I use it. But the rest of his kit just doesn't make sense, and it's way too simple and too fucking stupid. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't have pulled out the capabilities that they did with I'm trying to find them right now. Volibear. Like, Volibear's rework, amazing. I didn't really play old Volibear. I don't really play new Volibear that much. I love new Volibear's aesthetic. He looks fucking amazing. His abilities look amazing. His capabilities are amazing. I don't think this ability should temporarily disable towers. I think that's stupid as fuck. But besides that, he looks and feels amazing to play. I think that even some of the champions that they have reworked, such as Yorick, and as I was just saying, Mordekaiser, could use some touching up. Because, honestly, Urgot, I think he's still, like, not played at all. But I find him very balanced right now, to be completely honest. And I love the fact that they did one of the changes that I would wanted to be done. I don't know if I ever publicly made a to Z change for Urgot, but I said for the longest time that his W should not give him a shield, and the fact that it gives him a shield is completely ridiculous, but his E should. Now, honestly, I still think that his E should only give a shield if he lands the ability, but I'm okay with it not. I still think his ult is kind of broken, but that's besides the point. But, like, I think a Mumu should be changed, that Malphite definitely should be changed. Gnosis should without a doubt be changed. Vigor. My beloved Vigor. I love Vigor. I love Vigor with every part of my heart. He is my main. But he definitely needed some changes. Like, I want to know why Vigor. This is... so one example that Vars used in his video is that one of the newer champions, Set. Set is what he called like a perfect example of a new champion that doesn't have way too much in his kit. And I agree that he doesn't have way too much in his kit. But I also think that he has some free shit that kind of represents, oh, I'm a new champion, I have this. To where he is a little bit stupid. Such as, one, I don't think that he should have, I attack really fast and I gain missing health back faster based off of missing health. I'm fine with his Q. But I don't think that he should gain the biggest fucking shield the world's ever seen with his W and be able to do true damage in a line. I feel like, yet again, they should make his E the shield. If he stuns an enemy, then he gains a shield. But if he just pulls you, then he just doesn't gain the shield. He just pulls you. Something along that line. But, you know, you can keep the damage and everything from his W, but then don't add the fucking shield and true damage. Or I'm okay with the true damage, but yet again, I don't think it should scale how well he's been taking damage. Where there's still... He is a good example of not having way too much shit. Like, all of his abilities are pretty simple. But then, I don't know how many people know this, but Vigor again. His old passive. Like, now, Phenomenal Evil, every time he hits an enemy champion with an ability, he gains permanently increased ability power. Okay? So, a decently strong ability. But his old passive used to be that the lower mana he has, the more mana regen he has. So why does Set have bonus health regen the lower health he has, and can auto attack twice? Like, his second auto attack is like triple the speed of his regular auto attack, something like that. But yet Vigor only has this. Something along that line. Now, I understand kit is going to change from like character to character, and like you're going to want to make it to work for that character but not make it overpowered. I get it. But I do think that there are like little changes that can be made to all of these older champions. Honestly, I think Vigor's entire kit should be changed to some extent, because, yet again, bringing up Vars, is that he brought up the fact that a lot of these newer champions don't have... Can I do this by... No, I can't. Damn. I was wondering if I could do this by release date. But they don't have point-and-click abilities. If you actually check, like, the only one that really did have a point-and-click ability is Set, and even then, it's nothing that insane, in my opinion. But when a lot of these older champions did. Like, Malphite's slow, Vigor's R. Like, there are a decent amount of point-and-click abilities. Pantheon's entire old kit was basically point-and-click. And I do really like the fact that they are moving away from point and click, and because personally I hate it. I understand I love Vigor, but I don't like the fact that his ult is point and click. I don't like the fact that there's a decent amount of point and click abilities in the game. I hate Malzahar's point and click ultimate. I hate Skarner, another champion that I play, point and click ultimate that I really don't think should fully exist. And I wish that they would go through some of these old champions and make Vigor's kit revolve more around his stacks. Make it so that his Q gains bonus range or something like that, or his W. I love the fact that they added his W, making it lower cooldown by like a second every 50 stacks you have. I think that's amazing. Change his E, change his R, like change his abilities the more stacks he gains. Make it like appear on him visibly too, being like, oh wow, he has a decent amount of stacks already. His abilities are not going to do this and this to champions or to people that know the champion. Like honestly, the new Udyr update that's coming out looks amazing. I can't wait to see what's like fully going to happen with the champion. But what I've seen so far, it looks great, and I can't wait for it. But there are just a lot of these older champions that I really do think that they should just rework them and focus on changing them to fit the standard of League of Legends today, over making more champions that are the standard than anything else. Like it's kind of like see, like all the examples I think of are things that are still going on in the world. Like I was gonna say, honestly, bring up like schools. It's kind of like as if the state just picked a handful of schools, or are gonna like build new schools in new areas that are going to prosper while just ignoring the old schools. But I know that does kind of happen to some extent, and it shouldn't. So I can't exactly use that as an example, because yet again, it shouldn't happen. But it basically is just like that. It's just like picking these new things, these like I can't think of an exact example of like things that are commonly going on in the world today, but I do just think that instead of making new champions that fit the new League of Legends mold, then they should stop making new ones and instead just pick all these old champions, or a decent amount of the old champions, because honestly, some of these older champions will still do fine in today's meta. It's like that's perfectly shown through some of these champions, but that are perfectly fine in today's meta still. But that they should. But there are a lot of these older ones that I haven't seen in years, like genuinely years. I haven't seen a handful of champions in so long that I just don't know. Like I don't know what to do. Like, I just think that they should have a chance to play the game, and that they should be able to be played in this game. And that's basically my entire point, is that these old champions should be picked. Now, to finish my point, I'm going to say the thing that I've said 1,000 times. Rek'Sai, please, for the love of God, Riot Games, League of Legends, revert Rek'Sai. I hate the new Rek'Sai with everything in my being. I think that when she was a tank, times were better. Like when she just was a tank, that she was capable of being basically a bruiser, like an auto attack focused bruiser. She was just 10 times of a better champion. And I understand right now she's basically just a diving assassin with a shitty dive that only is good at the beginning of the game. Besides the point, because yet again I'm irritated, that I really, truly, and unbelievably think that she should be reverted to the champion she was before, when her passive didn't barely heal you for shit of your health, when her Q didn't automatically fill up her rage bar, when her W allowed her to see champions better and allowed her to knock up multiple champions, when her E did, her E is still basically the same, but still. And when her R was a global ultimate where she could go to any of her burrows, instead of it being an execute where you launch yourself at an enemy. Times were better then. Much better. Rek'Sai shit now. Honestly, I feel like old Rek'Sai would fit better in the new meta than the new fucking Rek'Sai. And yeah. And that's all. because I hate new fucking Rek'Sai. And I really wish I could go back to playing jungle Rek'Sai all the time like I used to, instead of having this new Rek'Sai that sucks dick. I understand she's pretty strong in higher elo. I get it. But God, do I just hate her. Like, I can't even use her in lower elo. It's just too fucking difficult. And I'll say part of it is maybe just my skill level, not being able to figure out new Rek'Sai, apparently. Or maybe just my mentality of trying to play her like old Rek'Sai when she's a completely different fucking champion with the same fucking abilities. Yeah. Little mini rant at the end. But thank you all very much for watching, and I'm going to bid you all adieu. Goodbye. Oh, also, never mind, not goodbye, but please check out Skooch and Vars. They are part of the inspiration of me making this video, essentially remaking it because I kind of said the same stuff in the past. And yeah, thank you all.